Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to my TED Talk, my very first time. Actually, don't be a donkey. My talk was originally in Vietnamese, but I want to challenge myself a little bit. So I decided to speak in English, even though my English is not that good to be compared to other native speakers. However, language is just a communicating way, right? And yes, let's enjoy. I remember when I was a kid, my mother always told me a story about a donkey, and it started like this. Long, long time ago, there was a donkey. The donkey was wandering around because he hadn't eaten anything and hadn't drunk a single drop of water for so many days. He was very hungry, very thirsty, and his body couldn't stand the condition any longer. But luckily for him, he found a bucket of water and a bale of hay. Can you see that? I draw it. But this time, the donkey was paralyzed. You know that he wanted to drink the water and he wanted to eat the hay, but he couldn't decide which one to go for first. So the donkey was turning his head. He looked at water, then back at hay, back to water, and again at hay. And as you can see, the donkey was unable to make a decision. And because he failed to make one, the donkey collapsed and died of dehydration and starvation. I tell you a story because I believe that both you and I, at some point, will find ourselves in the story of the donkey. Surely that sometimes in your life, you may be placed in situations where you have to face multiple choices. And the same as the donkey, we may be paralyzed and don't know which one is the most suitable to choose. Of course, we humans don't find it difficult to decide whether we should eat first or we should drink first. However, because we are human, we are more complicated. And we also live in a more complicated society, and therefore, choices that we are faced with sometimes are much more complicated. At the age of 18, I chose my major. And at that time, I have three options. The International Relations at DAV, ngành quan hệ quốc tế tại Học viện Ngoại giao. The International Economics and Integrated Marketing Communications at FTU in Ho Chi Minh City. Ngành Kinh tế Quốc tế và ngành Truyền thông Marketing tích hợp tại Đại học Ngoại thương Thành phố Hồ Chí Minh. To be honest, I was afraid. I was afraid of making a decision. However, because my mom and dad seemed very happy when I said, I had a plan to pursue diplomacy, Mom. So I chose international relations. I decided to study in Hanoi. And you know what? I took a risk with a social science major, despite the fact that I was a high school student specializing in natural sciences. And I was very uncertain about my decision at that time. The very first and difficult choices in life come up when you choose a major, when you choose a university, and when to plan your future career. Honestly speaking, one of the reasons that make me hesitant when facing three options at that time was simply because I was stuck. I was stuck with a very popular piece of advice, and that was follow your passion. But the problem was I couldn't find out which one is my true passion. And I was like, what am I passionate about? Was it diplomacy or economics or communications? How many times have you already heard your friends, your teachers, or even your family say just follow your passion when you ask them for advice? Many times. And I have to admit that I have already heard this phrase not once or twice, but 9 to 10 times to be exact. And that's a lot. Obviously, passion sounds like a wonderful thing when choosing where to invest your time and effort, right? And according to experts, the average person will spend more than 90,000 hours working in the lifetime. So basically, it would be nice if that time was spent doing something that you actually love. Because 90,000 hours mean 1/3 of your life. Right? However, at the same time, follow your passion is just a dangerously limiting idea about success and life in general. And it makes you be in your mind that you have one singular passion, and your job is to find it and to pursue it to the exclusion of all else. And if you do that, everything will fall into place. You will be successful, and if you don't, you fail. Can you see that? Can you see that it's just so intimidating, isn't it? It's like picking a major for life. And that could be the reason why every time we are faced with choices, we hesitate. Because both you and I, we all have the same fears. Fear that we choose wrong, we will have to continue that way without excitement and lack of motivation. Or fear that we have to start over on another way. Fear that it will take longer than others. And fear that while other people can easily find their true passion, have a stable life, a decent job, and we are still here, being stuck and making no progress. It was not until 3 months ago that I realized that there are actually many ways to define passion. And one of them is that passion is not a plan. It's a feeling. And feelings change. They do. Today you can be passionate about a character in the K-drama Queen of Tears, for example, and just 2 days later you find out that the main actor in the series Lovely Runner, Song Jae, is actually closer to your type. One day you may be passionate about becoming a teacher, and then no longer passionate the next. Okay, let's conduct a survey. Raise your hand, please, if you have ever talked to yourself like this. I wish I had chosen University A, University B, instead of this university. Or raise your hand if you have ever thought that if only I had chosen another major instead of this major. Okay, I can see that's a great number. Yes, thank you. I will volunteer. When I first started studying international relations, I quickly discovered that everything about this major was so far different from what I had imagined before. I know that I would have to study politics and history, but they were just so hard for me to keep up with the class. And you know that everyone from strangers to classmates to teammates, they were just so excellent with magnificent background and a very, very good foundation in social science. And I, a student, spending my 3 years specializing in natural sciences, I have nothing to be compared to my peers. Zero. And I talked to myself at that time that probably diplomacy was the wrong choice. If only I had chosen communications from the beginning, my feelings changed, you know that? And I changed my mind too. And I thought that communications actually is my true passion. Maybe not diplomacy. I switched to communications. And I have always wanted to have the opportunity to become an influencer on social media. And I have a very simple thought that if I study communications, I would stand a much higher chance and make my dream come true. But what if communications is not that fantastic? It turned out to be not very demure, not very mindful. What if after experiencing communications, I quickly discovered that everything about this major was so far different from my initial imagination? We all know that reality and imagination are always different. Yes, you all know that, I know that. And I used to believe that diplomacy would be a wonderful journey until I experienced it. And if I had chosen communications from the beginning, would I be at this moment feeling so regretful and then change my mind and wish that if only I had chosen diplomacy from the beginning instead of communications? We often tend to choose the option that we think is more perfect. And then the moment that we figure out that it's not as perfect as we imagine, we easily fall into disappointment and wish that and feel that the pastime has been a waste. And that could be the reason why we often end up with if only, I wish. We tend to wish that we had chosen another when everything doesn't meet our expectations. We choose A and then suppose that option B is better. But what if we choose B from the beginning and then wish that we had chosen option A? I think I missed something right now. Actually, international relations is not that bad. I mean, I can still handle it if I put in my time and effort. And somebody here might think that I was just an incompetent student because I was just being so negative about my major all this time. But actually, when asked about what I did achieve on this journey, I would say there are two things that I am always ready to flex. Number one, I got GPA at 4 from the first semester and became the face of Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam 2024. Thank you. Number two, I was selected as one of the 7 first-year students in my faculty to receive and win the highest scholarship this year. I know that politics is not my cup of tea. It has never been. And I don't even know any right way to study history. But I still believe that I can do it, I can make it, if I have a real passion for international relations. The passion I want to mention right here is not a job. It's not a hobby. It's the full force of your attention and energy that you give to whatever right in front of you. I don't need to wait until I have a passion to study diplomacy. I can pursue diplomacy and then I will be passionate about it. And I would never have discovered that I have the ability to pursue a political major if I had chosen communications or economics from the beginning. You don't follow your passion. Your passion follows you. My journey hasn't been easy. Diplomacy has never been easy. And I know for sure that whether it is economics or communications, it will not be easy. And therefore, I want you to remember that. Just make a choice. Don't be a donkey, just make a choice. If you have 2 options, choose one. If you have 3 options, then choose one. And if you have more than that and every option seems very suitable to you and you don't know which one is the right one, then choose one. We all have the same fears that we might pick the wrong choice and get on the wrong train, headed to the wrong future. I feel lost sometimes, and I don't know what difficult choices I will have to face in the next 1 or 2 years. I don't. And the truth is, nobody knows. But we still have to make a choice when it comes. And instead of trying to find the right one, choose one and make it right. Thank you.